Halftime at the Jar, the Akron women taking on Ball State in the Mid-American Conference battle. And we're pleased to be joined by Matthew Becker. He's the Associate Dean of Research for the College of Polymers and Polymer Engineering.
Yep.
And Matthew, tell us exactly what you do, and you've got a lot of good research things going on here.
Right. I've been at the University of Akron since 2009 and in both polymers and biomedical engineering, and we're working very actively with the Department of Defense and DARPA on developing new polymers to help soldiers that are injured on the battlefield.
And biomedical engineering is a huge growing field, and Akron is really at the forefront of that as well.
Yep, and the biomedical engineering program here is one of the fastest growing in the department, and the polymer science program is really the foundational research element here, and it's exciting to be a part of both places.
What are some of the things specifically research-wise that you're doing with the Defense Department?
Well, one of the things we're looking at is this is a segmental bone defect repair that we're currently in large animal trials with Houston Methodist, and we hope to be in humans later this year if the right soldier comes in. But what it's designed to do is if there's a shooting or a bombing where there's a large mass of bone loss, is to replace that and actually, instead of doing an amputation, allow the bone to grow back and the soldier retain full function.
How rewarding is the work you're doing research-wise, given that it goes to the guys that are, defending our country?
In these times, we think it's really important, and that's really what brought me to the University of Akron. The university's got a long tradition of translational research, taking things from the research lab and actually getting into the field. Prior to that, I'd worked for the U.S. Department of Commerce in the National Lab, where I was working with Walter Reed Military Center, and Akron's their reputation for putting things into practice, one of the reasons I came here.
What about the student involvement in these research projects as well? You mentioned the fast-growing biomedical engineering. That kind of factors into the next wave of people that are working on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Students are critical to the process. We get students from, I think I have a group of 30. It's one of the largest research groups in the country in materials. I've got students from 7 different countries. I've got undergrads, and I've got 2 young ladies who are swimmers in my lab as well at the University of Akron. So athletics is a big part of that tradition.
What are some of the things that you hope to do as you continue to grow this research department and the program as well?
Yeah. So we're actively recruiting faculty and students all the time. We've recently launched 2 startup companies to commercialize these materials in partnership with a large medical device company that I can't reveal, but we're hoping that we'll be able to do that this year. We've signed with broker dealers and raised quite a bit of money, but we're really hoping that this is another example of how Akron's actually putting things into use that have real practical value.
And really, the biomedical engineering field is kind of exploding. What type of students do you look for, and what type of students really get interested in that?
Students that are interested in math and science, certainly, but students that want to work. If you're a biomedical engineer, you can't be afraid to get dirty. It's just dirty by nature, and really, we really like being here in the Midwest, where students have a little bit more blue-collar attitude, and they're ready to work.
Really, if you can think of anything to the bone that you're replacing there, and it all begins with kind of a wild thought, doesn't it?
It's a wild thought, and so when they first presented this problem to us several years ago, it was almost laughable. And that's the way the military works. That they do bold things, they have real problems, and they're looking for solutions now, not 10 years from now. And so once we put some thought to practice and looked at what we were doing in other areas, we were able to put the right team together, and really this kind of thing's never been done before, so we're pretty excited.
Matthew Becker, keep up the great work
Thanks.
with the biomedical engineering and the polymers program here. As always, we appreciate the time. Matthew Becker, Associate Dean of Research for the College of Polymers and Polymer Engineering. We appreciate the time. It's halftime. The Akron women and the Ball State women here on ESPN 3 from the Jar.